Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond the Box Score, and I am your host Hayat. Today, we're breaking down 5 college basketball matchups on February 23rd, and I'm walking through every single one the same way I do on camera: messy, real-time, thinking out loud, connecting stats to matchups, tempo to identity, motivation to situational spots. We've got Houston walking into Allen Fieldhouse. We've got ACC positioning battles. We've got Southland matchups that could turn into straight-up rock fights. And I'm not just reading numbers, I'm trying to understand how these games actually feel. Who controls tempo? Who dictates physicality? Where's the free throw edge? Where's the three-point math advantage? Where's regression coming? This is pure analysis and opinion, no guarantees, no locks, no magic crystal ball. Just me breaking down how these 5 games could realistically unfold if the data and the spots play out the way they suggest. Alright, February 23rd slate, let's start connecting the dots. Houston vs Kansas, the lean here is under 136.5 and Houston minus 1.5. Okay, the lean here is under 136.5 and Houston minus 1.5. Let me walk through why. We've got Houston headed into Allen Fieldhouse to play Kansas, and Houston is laying 1.5, total set at 136.5, and immediately when I see that number, 136.5, with these two profiles, my brain just goes slow, physical, half-court, grind. Both of these teams are coming off tough losses at home. And I think that context matters. Kansas just lost to Cincinnati as minus 8.5 favorites, and Cincinnati ran away with that thing. I watched that game, I was on the under in that game and that was a hit, but still, Kansas losing outright is minus 8.5 at home. That's concerning. Now, Cincinnati was lights out, so maybe you write some of that off, but still, that's a data point. And I will say this, Darren Peterson did play 32 minutes, which I believe is probably the most minutes he's played all season. So if this matchup plays out where Kansas finally extends him into real rotation minutes, that's at least a positive sign. On the other side, Houston lost to Arizona, and Arizona pretty much had control that whole game. Houston made it interesting at certain spots, but Arizona was just too much. So now both teams are in bounce-back mode, and when I think bounce-back with Houston, I think defense. This is a top 10 defense in the country. Kansas, according to KenPom, has a top 15 defense in the country. So you're talking top 10 and top 15 defenses on the same floor. Kansas has Bryson Taylor and Bidunga, 2 guys who are damn near 7 foot in the paint, so interior size is real. And then I look at pace. Houston ranks 275th in the country in average possession length. Kansas ranks 165th in that category. Both teams play at a slow pace. So what connects for me is if Houston is 275th and Kansas is 165th, we're not suddenly getting a track meet. The way to beat Houston is not to play their game, it's to run, to play fast-paced basketball, but Kansas doesn't do that. That's not Kansas's game. So one path I see here is Houston controlling the tempo, slowing it down, making it ugly, making every possession feel heavy. And if every point is valuable and comes at a premium, 136.5 feels high in that context. Yes, there's talent, yes guys can get hot, but unless they get hot as hell, this profiles as slow and methodical. I do see the comparison to the Kansas vs Iowa State game where Iowa State came into Kansas and Kansas blew them out, so there is that path. But when I look at season-long consistency, Houston has been much more consistent. Not substantially better, but more consistent. So if this matchup plays out at Houston's pace, with a top 10 defense dictating terms against a top 15 defense, I lean under 136.5 and I lean Houston minus 1.5. Yeah, that's why the lean sticks at under 136.5 and Houston minus 1.5. Next game we have Texas A&M Corpus Christi vs Southeastern Louisiana. The lean here is Texas A&M Corpus Christi moneyline minus 145. Let me walk through why. I'm looking at Southeastern Louisiana sitting at 8-20 overall and 5-4 in the conference, and then Texas A&M Corpus Christi at 14-4 overall and 10-9 in conference play, and right away I'm thinking, okay, records aren't everything, but there's a gap there. Now if this matchup plays out like two teams that both rank 300th and 215th in adjusted tempo, we're talking slow, really slow. Southeastern Louisiana 300th in adjusted tempo. Texas A&M Corpus Christi 215th, so this is going to be half court, grind it out, possessions matter. And then you look at the offenses and it's kind of ugly. Southeastern Louisiana 336th in offensive rating, Texas A&M Corpus Christi 298th in offensive rating. So neither one of these teams can score efficiently. And that's why I'm not messing with points here. Two poor offenses, that's exactly what we're dealing with. But what connects for me is the defense. Southeastern Louisiana 189th in defensive rating, Texas A&M Corpus Christi 83rd in defensive rating, sitting top 100. That's a big jump. And then KenPom overall, Texas A&M Corpus Christi 191st overall, Southeastern Louisiana 291st overall, that's a full 100 spots higher. That matters. That's not noise. That's separation. And both teams have played tough schedules too. Southeastern Louisiana strength of schedule net rating 168th, non-conference schedule 63rd. Texas A&M Corpus Christi strength of schedule net rating 119th, and in the non-con they've had the toughest schedule in the nation. So they've been tested. If this game turns into a physical rebounding battle, Islanders are the better rebounding team. If it turns into a three-point variance thing, Islanders have the slight edge at the three-point line. And here's the part one really like. Texas A&M Corpus Christi is 59th in the nation in free throw rate, and Southeastern Louisiana is 308th defensively in putting teams on the line. That's a collision. That's a mismatch. One path I see here is the shots aren't falling, because 336th and 298th in offensive rating says they might not. And Texas A&M Corpus Christi just keeps getting to the line. These two already met. Islanders won by 12 points at home, shot 43% from 3 while the Lions shot 33% from 3, got to the free throw line 11 more times, and had a slight edge on the glass. And now I look at trends. Southeastern Louisiana 1-9 in last 10 games is an underdog, 1-5 ATS in last 6 games is an underdog. That's not a team I want to back catching points. The line is -2.5, -105, or moneyline -145, and personally I don't want to mess with the -2.5 in a slow game with two poor offenses. I'll pay the -145 because I think they're the better team, better defense, better rebounding, better free throw rate, 100 spots higher in KenPom. Yeah, that's why the lean sticks at Texas A&M Corpus Christi moneyline -145. Now move to next game, North Carolina versus Louisville. The lean here is Louisville -1. Okay, the lean here is Louisville -1. Let me walk through why. North Carolina is 21-6 on the year, 15-12 ATS, and they're alternating wins and losses in 5 straight after a 77-64 win over Syracuse. Louisville comes in 20-7, 13-14 ATS, and they just picked up an 87-70 win over Georgia Tech at home. Didn't cover the -23.5 they were laying in that game, but maybe they were looking ahead. Louisville is 9-5 in conference play, sitting in 6th, tied right there with North Carolina, and they're chasing Clemson, Miami, Virginia, NC State, and Duke. That matters because we're talking about positioning for a top 4 seed and that double bye in the ACC tournament. So motivation is real. Now North Carolina is down Caleb Wilson but got Henry Visser back, and that return matters, especially when you're talking size. But Louisville has Sonatu with a 7-foot frame inside, so it's not like North Carolina just gets to dominate the paint. And here's the thing that really connects for me. North Carolina has been the worst team in the ACC in conference play this season defending the perimeter. Season long they're bang average nationally defending the 3, but in conference play they're allowing teams to shoot 39.1% from 3. That's 39.1%. Now put that against Louisville, who is 3rd in the country in 3-point shot rate. They take the 3rd most amount of 3-point attempts per game in the country. They take it ahead by a far margin in ACC play. They are the most 3-point dependent team in the conference. 41% of their points are coming from 3. That's as many points from 3s as it is from 2. So if this matchup plays out where Louisville gets volume from 3 against a defense allowing 39.1% in conference play, that's a dangerous combination. And then late game. What if it turns into a free throw contest? Louisville is the best team in the ACC at the free throw line, shooting 78.5%, while North Carolina is at 68.8%. That's a 10% gap. In a game lined at Louisville -1, laying the bucket on the road, that free throw gap could be everything. North Carolina has the home court edge, yes, and they're 21-6, 15-12 ATS, but they've alternated wins and losses in 5 straight. Louisville is 20-7, 13-14 ATS, didn't cover -23.5 last time, but won 87-70. If this becomes a 3-point math game and a free throw game, what connects for me is Louisville's profile fits perfectly. And with the ACC standings tight at 9-5 in 6th place, chasing Clemson, Miami, Virginia, NC State, and Duke, there's urgency. So I'm rolling with Louisville -1. Yeah, that's why the lean sticks at Louisville -1. Quick pause. If you've got an even one lean you like so far, whether it's the Houston under angle, the Islanders moneyline spot, or you're riding with Louisville's 3-point math, hit the like button. That tells me these full 5-game breakdown slates are worth grinding through. And if you're watching consistently but haven't subscribed yet, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It takes you literally 1 second, but it helps this channel grow and keeps these deep dives coming every single week. Alright, back to the breakdown. Now we have game between Houston Christian versus East Texas A&M. The lean here is Houston Christian plus 2.5. Let me walk through why. Both of these teams are 6-13 in conference play, and that right there tells you how tight this is in the standings, and both are 4-6 in their last 10 games, so neither is exactly surging. But if this matchup plays out like the first meeting, I don't understand why Houston Christian is catching 2.5 now. They won that first one by 11 points. They won the rebound battle by 6. They shot 30 free throws. That's not fluky. That's physicality. Houston Christian averages 67 points per game, bottom 30 pace, 44% from the field. East Texas A&M averages 71 points per game, top 125 pace, 43% from the field. So stylistically there's a little difference in tempo, bottom 30 pace versus top 125 pace, but neither team likes the 3-point ball, both want to go down low. So if both want to go down low, I'm thinking about size and physical presence. Houston Christian front court is all listed 6 feet 8 or taller. That matters. East Texas A&M defense is better and they're decent on the boards, but they're coming off a 9-point home loss to Incarnate Word. And if this turns into another game where Houston Christian lives at the line, even if they don't shoot 30 free throws again, if they get somewhere in that same area, that keeps them live. One path I see is a slow, half-court game where 67 points per game meets 71 points per game and it's ugly, and in ugly games I'll take the points. Houston Christian already proved they can win this matchup by 11, already proved they can win the rebound battle by 6, already proved they can dominate free throw attempts with 30. So now they're catching 2.5. In a game where both are 6-13 in conference play and both 4-6 in last 10. I don't need them to be great. I just need them to stay inside a one-possession game or win outright. Yeah, that's why the lean sticks at Houston Christian plus 2.5. Last game of this video is Stephen F. Austin versus New Orleans. The lean here is Stephen F. Austin minus 12.5. Let me walk through why. A few days ago we tried this and Nichols shot over 50% from deep, shot 54% from the field, and somewhere around 45% to 48% from deep. And that's just one of those nights where you tip your cap. But I don't project that kind of shooting carrying over here. Stephen F. Austin already played New Orleans and won on the road by 5 points, and in that game New Orleans shot 51% from the field and 41% from deep at home, and still lost by 5. So if this matchup plays out like anything close to normal shooting regression, especially now on the road, I just don't see New Orleans replicating 51% from the field and 41% from deep again. Stephen F. Austin has won 13 games in a row. The only South Conference loss was a road game at MC by 2 points. That's it. That's the blemish. This team is the best defense in the conference. They're great from deep. They're coached under Brower. So if this turns into a defensive squeeze, Stephen F. Austin can create separation. If it turns into a shooting battle, they're great from deep. One path I see is New Orleans shooting well early, hanging around, but over 40 minutes the best defense in the conference starts grinding them down. And 12.5 looks big, but when you're talking about a team that won by 5 on the road while allowing 51% from the field and 41% from deep, regression alone could add multiple possessions of margin. Add in 13 games in a row, add in that their only conference loss was by 2 on the road at MC, and this team just feels like it's on a different level right now. Yeah, that's why the lean sticks at Stephen F. Austin minus 12.5. Alright, that wraps it up for all 5 college basketball matchups on February 23rd. As always, this is analysis and opinion only. Nothing guaranteed. No promises. Just me working through pace, matchups, shooting profiles, defensive rankings, trends, and motivation to see how these games might unfold if the spots line up the way they look on paper. Now I want to hear from you. Drop AZ in the comments and tell me which game stood out most. Was it the Houston tempo battle? The Southland free throw edge? The ACC 3-point math game? Or are you seeing something completely different? More breakdowns coming soon, same raw format, same thinking out loud style, same deep dives. And remember, we don't guess. We connect the dots. I'll see you in the next one.